Patch 14.9 preview. This is the patch after MSI. Further item changes. Stark's Gauge, Eclipse, and Thunder Sky are dominating their slots. After this set of changes, we expect them, these items that compete like Black Cleaver Dance, which is getting buffed, to be more viable options on both heavy and light fighters alike. Okay, I mean, Black Cleaver maybe. Dance is still horrible. Mao is receiving some changes to make it less of a sharp always counter to magic damage uses by focusing more of its defensive power budget relatively in the shield, rather than just face tanking all the magic damage. So yeah, basically Mao is getting like a reshape, where it's gonna become worse for ADCs, better for bruisers. Champ hitboxes. Champ hitboxes have been pretty inconsistent for a long time, and consistency lover Riot Freak found an opportunity to do a pass. This will mean things like champions will be more consistent to click on, both to click, to attack, and select. Champions will more consistently have hitboxes that feel in line with their size. Warwick and Briar will not be Yordle sized, and Victor will not be much larger to click than Leona. Okay, so Freak does this a lot. Over the last 12 months, Freak has gone to many of these little adventures that he does, like fixing Mage's attack speed, like reworking the mini shards in runes. He does this a lot. He really is like a numbers lover, and I kind of get where this is coming from. It is like if you actually see the numbers, some of the champions have absurd hitboxes for no reason. Skarner, a combination of fixing Skarner's recommended items, players learning optimizations, queuing before E, and shifting him into jungle led him to be pretty powerful. We're hitting him with another nerf. So already did a micro patch, they did a micro patch, it obviously wasn't enough. Skarner was mega overtuned. I think he had like 58% win rate on top lane, so he's turned out to be pretty elite skewed, kinda like Cassandra, hard spike on level 9 as well as optimization heavy. We're thinking about ways to even out his skew between roles. Ideally jungle and top are both viable, but top lane having a healthy lane pattern and jungle being a primary role. I don't even know what this means, top lane having a healthy lane pattern. These are just like empty words here, but yeah. I get it. They're trying to make him a jungler, and if the people want to play him top, they can, but it shouldn't be more than jungle. Got it. Power creep pass. One of the stories of this patch is being more intentional about power creep. The last few patches have been pretty buff heavy, so we're looking to push some power out of some champions. Our general order for this is champions with outsized levels of frustrations for their current power level. Some champions need to be certain levels of frustrating, or they're just not doing their job. Example, a 10% ban rate is probably just not functional as a champion. Champions with known high mastery who are sitting over 50%.
31 months Skladge.
Thank you, Mariam. If Azir is hitting over 50%, we know something's probably wrong. Champions who have been stale for a long time at a high side of balance power level. Example, they're technically balanced, but balanced on a wide spectrum, and they've been sitting on the borderline of OP for a while. So basically like shaking up the meta, got it. Draven, we know Draven is one of these champions that typically belongs in the category 1, which is frustration. We don't believe he's overpowered, but he's certainly pretty frustrating, especially as he comes back into the meta. We'll be monitoring his frustration closely and expect it to go down over time. More on boss and arena post tomorrow. Okay, so I don't think he, because I'm reacting to this a little bit late. Let me just see his Twitter, but I don't think he. Yeah, the detailed patch preview didn't come out yet. So okay. Okay, so we have certain champions being buffed or nerfed. Now some of these already reacted what the nerfs are going to be, right? So Amumu. Let me pull this up. So Amumu is right here. Wait, where is it? Here. Amumu is gonna get base AD increased from 53 to 57 and base armor increased by 3. So I guess early game buffs for Amumu. These are early game buffs for Amumu, which basically buff more of his high elo than low elo. I don't really know what these buffs do. I mean, I guess they do increase his clear by a little bit maybe. And maybe in some auto-attack heavy skirmishes in early game, this could make a difference. 3 armor is obviously nice for Amumu. The AD is, like, even though it's 4 AD, which is a lot, he's not an auto-attacker, right? So, I don't know what this is gonna do. Then we have Karma. Karma Q slow increased from 30% to 40%. So, yeah, that's fine. RE AoE move speed increased from 12% to 15%. RE AoE shield increased to 100%. So, again, they're buffing Karma more of the E. They've done the same thing last time. They're trying to move Karma away from the playstyle where she buys Malignance and becomes a poke mage. And they're trying to make her more of a utility / supportive thing. I mean, this is fine. I don't think these buffs are too big. But at the same time, Karma is a frustrating champion and people don't like playing against it. Actually, let me just react to this first. Kassadin nerf right here. So the R, they were planning to nerf R, which I thought was really dumb, and they're reverting it. They're doing an E 10% AP ratio. I don't think this is going to kill Kassadin. I think what this does is it makes Kassadin worse in losing matchups, and it makes it so he's more reliant on counter picks. and picking him in correct spots. This is fine. Malzahar buffs. Q mana cost reduced from 80 flat to 80 to 60. E cooldown reduced 15 to 7 to 11 to 7. So only early game buffs for Malzahar. At level 9, he's practically the same champion. As soon as he completes Lost Chapter, he does not have mana issues. So the Q buff is only impactful, I would say, before he gets mana Lost Chapter. So maybe you do a couple of more Qs in lane, and then the E cooldown going down. I guess you have better drop at last hitting, a little bit more push early game, maybe a little bit more trading. In general, I don't think this does anything. Like, this does really nothing. It makes his early game a little bit better. Realistically speaking, at level 9 onwards, he's the same champion. I just don't see what this does. Mazar is weak for the same reasons. His voidings are still the worst pet minions in the game. This does nothing. Sejuani buffs. So this is very intentional. They're buffing Sejuani after MSI patch. Sejuani is always nerfed because of pro play. They're buffing her literally after... Passive bonus resist ratio increased by 25%. W hit base damage changed from 10 to 30 to 5 to 45. W first hit health ratio increased by 2% health. W second hit base damage reduced. Oh, okay. What? Okay, that is really weird to me. Okay, I don't like these changes at all. They're making it so the first instance of Sejuani Q does more damage and the second instance does less. To me, that makes no sense. The second instance should always do more damage because it is more skilled to hit the second instance. The first instance is not dodgeable. I do get what this does. This kind of removes pro skew and buffs low elo skew because the first hit is, the second hit is more pro skewed. I get it, but I don't like it. Seraphine buff. Q AP ratio increased from 50% to 60%. I still think Seraphine's worse than she originally was, but this is a decent buff. I mean, it's a buff to her main ability. 10% AP ratio. This is mainly a buff to like heavy AP builds, right? Don't think this does much to support Seraphine. Skarner nerf. Mana region growth increased again. Q base damage reduced by 20. W slow reduced to 20 flat. Yeah, Skarner getting more nerfs. It's just not balanced. They released an OP champion. And then personally, I'm really happy about this. Damage reduced from 8 to 4 to 6 to 3. I really like this because this is a bigger nerf to melee champions than range champions. I think Eclipse is overtuned to melee champions. I like this. By the way, this is also like a Zed nerf, right? And so these are the new changes that happened on SpiderX Twitter. The last ones I think I already reacted to. So going over it again. So we have Cannon. I don't know what the Cannon buff is going to be. Malzahar, Karma, Mumu, Sejuani, Seraphine. We saw all of these. Then we have Ahri. Ahri buff already went over, Ahri nerf, already went over it last time. It's a very good nerf because they're reducing W and ult, W base damage, which is an unskilled ability, and ultimate CD, not bad. However, Malignant should be nerfed, not Ahri, IMO. Aurelion Soul, I remember it, the nerf was going to be E AP ratio. The nerf is probably not big enough, I would assume. I don't think that nerf is going to be big enough. It just makes Aurelion Sol worse early game champion, sure. Blitzcrank is going to get the passive nerf. It doesn't really do anything. You're kind of picking Blitz for the same things. Evelyn is going to get W slow reduced and R 10% AP ratio. I think it makes bad Evelyn players worse, and I think the good Evelyn players are probably not going to be impacted as much. Jinx, R cooldown, it's not going to be enough. I still expect Jinx to be one of the better ADCs. Kassadin, E AP ratio nerf, it's an okay nerf. Mastery, we have 10 true damage of E, it's an okay nerf. Olaf, I don't remember what the Olaf nerf is going to be. But again, this is like something I would like Riot to be more consistent about. I probably wouldn't nerf Olaf, I would probably just nerf Olaf's interaction with Ravenous RJ. I think this is what makes the champion dump. Pyke. Pyke was gonna get W nerf, the cooldown, and the move speed, I think, which is a pretty fair nerf to Pyke. It makes it so he has to be more careful when to use W and stuff. Skarner, yeah, Skarner, good nerfs. The champ is OP. Talia, Talia nerf was gonna be jungle and mid focus, I remember. So mana on Q, I think, and monster mod damage on a certain ability, if I remember correctly. Not too big Talia nerfs, they're going very light on her. Twitch, they're going all over the place, so I think the current nerf for Twitch is gonna be 20 AD off ult at rank 1 and 30 at rank 3, right? So Twitch is gonna do less damage with ult. Twitch is very overpowered right now. Urgot, I don't remember, what was Urgot nerf about again? It was, I think, armor, base armor down by 3 or something like that. Yeah, not a big nerf. Urga's gonna be fine. Then we have selection gameplay radius. So there's a lot of champions being changed here. Let me try to find this, because this is actually really important to talk about. This is one of the most important things about the upcoming patch. Oh yeah, here. Okay, here we have it. Aurelion Sol is gonna get a bigger hitbox. So Aurelion Sol is getting nerfed twice this patch. Briar is gonna be 10 hitbox more. Darius is gonna get reduced by 15. Cassante is gonna be increased by 15. Nafiri is gonna be increased by 10. Warwick increased by 10. I think this is really fair, by the way, especially Warwick. Warwick should not have this small of a hitbox. Yumi, being a cat and being small, makes sense to have a lower hitbox. So this is a slight Yumi buff. Azir, selection rate D, click box. I don't really get what this means, click box. This is like your mouse cursor, how like close you have to be to the champion to click them, or what? A little bit decrease. Veigar, slight increase, doesn't do anything. Vel'Koz, I mean, this doesn't really do anything. Like, why am I even reading this? This is just like, if you're good at clicking, this doesn't really impact you. These are the bigger, because these are gameplay changes. This is actually bigger. Pathing minion block. Cassante will get increased by 15, and Yumi is gonna get decreased by 5. What the fuck are these numbers? Freak said that the increase in size also generates an increase in auto attack. Oh, okay, so it's gonna be easier to auto attack his champions. Okay, got it. Yeah, and then we have adjustments. Auction is gonna get straight up nerfed. Belvet, I think it was a nerf. Janus was a nerf, and Nyla was also nerfed. So they're calling these adjustments, but the champions are straight up getting nerfed. So don't get fooled by this. Dazzle's buff will not do enough. Eclipse nerf and Thunder Sky nerf and Stark's nerfs are fantastic. Hexdrinker adjustment. Personally, find it underwhelming, but we'll see how it goes. It's not a top end item. Riot constantly does this to Hexdrinker. I don't know why, but they constantly just like make it to be a top lane item, and then an ADC item, and then a top lane item, and an ADC item. I don't know where they're going with this. Personally, I prefer Mao to be an ADC item, and the reason for that is because ADCs do generally not have a lot of magic resist options, while top laners do have a lot of magic resist options. And that's the patch, guys. So overall, next patch is looking to be a heavily solo queue focused patch for casual play. New PBE changes. What is it? Thunder Sky change. Heal ratio reverted from 5 to 6. Rest of the nerfs are still in. I think this is fine. The item was probably getting over nerfed. Starak cost increased from nerf by 200 gold. Wow, okay, now Stark is getting to the territory where it's actually nerfed. Before, the item was just like whatever. Okay. More Mauve changes. Lifesteal was changed from the Omnivamp in earlier patch, but forgot. Okay. Omnivamp increased from 8 to 10%. That's stronger though. I think Omnivamp in general is stronger than Lifesteal. And this is better for bruisers. Well, okay. Two changes. Base health reduced again. Health growth increased again. WC AP ratio reduced by 1%, so nerfed AP Twitch. R bonus AD increased from 20 to 50 to 30 to 60. 40 to 70 life. Ooh, okay, a lot of nerfs to Twitch. Early game nerf to Twitch. Early game R and late game R nerf. And W slow on AP Twitch. Okay, very fair, very fair. More Skarner nerfs. W shield reduced from 9% to 8%, so Skarner a little bit bigger nerf. All of change. Q bonus monster damage increased to 10 to 70. 5 to 45 life. They really want all of jungle back, bro. And that's it. Okay, I mean, it's not a lot of changes, right? Few changes came in. Not that much. They're just shipping some additional nerfs here and there.